Hello friends, Fruits and Vegetables, Man's Ability 2.0 here, and welcome to Reading Our Stories, Villain's Tale, part whatever. I've lost count. You'll see it in the title. Bottom left off, Layla became Queen of the Underworld, and yeah, we're going to see what happens next. We have a cat. Don't say Soxy, hello. Okay, let's just get on. Chapter 10, The Underworld Rebellion. Layla had ordered all- I want to see what happened in this chapter, guys. Layla had ordered all of her soldiers of the Underworld to gather the people to the capital city of the Underworld known as Core. Ooh. I didn't know the capital city of the Underworld had a name. It doesn't in the current story. Although it's really a capital city, there's just kind of like a centre and a place with a stage and stuff. Which was directly under Tauki City, which was the capital of Western Iconia. In brackets, the country where this all takes place, because I don't think I mentioned the country yet. To be fair, in the current story, I didn't mention the country till like chapter 10, so... People were loud and rowdy, I mean, they are villains, so what do you really expect? There was a stage there made for announcements. Layla stood there for the first time in a while. When attacking towns like Tauki City, Layla preferred not to use the army of people she had, as she wanted to show how strong she was without the help of all the people that lived in the underworld. In the underworld, this is law, guys. In the underworld, people that have evil in their soul can enter. That's still pretty similar. But there are some exceptions, such as children and kidnapping, such as taking someone prisoner. The people all stood staring up at the stage. They sat in a fancy chair which looked like it could be a throne. On one side stood Alcona, on the other side Devon and Shadow and Rachel stood. On the other side stood Devon and Shadow, and Rachel stood to the side. Okay. Wait, or on another side stood Devon, and then Rachel and Shadow stood to the side. While Snowy sat on the floor trembling, and Apo sat curled around her neck, while Tao rested on her shoulder. Charlie, still being a young pup, jumped on Layla's lap and let his head rest there. Witch and Hunter sat firmly on either side of Shadow. As many of you know, it was Mortimer's duty to raise the next queen of the underworld. Mortimer has died, which means I am now your queen. If you love all that is bad and want to follow the embodiment of evil, bow to me, and I shall be your evil queen. However, if you do not bow to me, I shall burn every last atom of your body. That's a threat. Because on the side of evil there is no such thing as mercy, shouted Layla fiercely. Why should we follow you? You're not even the most wanted criminal. Shadow is. She should be queen, shouted a random man. It would have been of your best interest to not have said that, thought Shadow. Huh, what is this? Do I smell traitor's flesh burning? Smelled Layla. Shadow, grab him. Here we go with the crazy, muttered Shadow. Rachel, stay here. Shadow jumped down from the stage. She drew her sword, knowing that this man wasn't going to go down without a fight. This is a place full of villains. Now this can go two of one ways. The easy way or the hard way, said Shadow as she aimed a punch at her, which she immediately intercepted with the sword of Shadow's, chopping his arm off. Oh, this writing is very readable. He shrieked in pain. She pulled him up the stage by his hair. Layla then set him on fire. His shrieks of pain eventually fizzled out. I do like that. And all that was left was ashes, which Layla kicked into Snowy's face. It's funny because in my current story, I've just wrote the bit where Snowy, or like the flashback to when Snowy and Layla met. And in the current story, that's a lot more wholesome. In this story, their bond's like a lot more sweet and wholesome. In this, it's like, yeah. She's kind of horrible. Now, bow down to me, or you shall meet the same fate. Maybe I will even feed you to my sister's hellhounds. Oh yeah, and she's next in line, so you should address her as princess. All the people bowed, much to Layla's slight disappointment. She liked burning people. Okay. And suddenly a guard pointed his spear at Layla, which Devon quickly knocked out of the guard's hand. Shadow held Rachel's hand and held the sword of Shadows in her other hand. Witch Hunter, protect Rachel. Make sure she gets out of this alive, muttered Shadow to her pets. They seemed to understand. Layla stood up. Alcona drew her sword. I didn't know Alcona had a sword, but okay. Snorri stood up, muttering to himself. Shadow gave Rachel her spare sword. What is the meaning of this? Shouted Layla, positioning her hand in a way that would be ready to shoot fire at anyone. This is an uprising against you, Layla, shouted the commander of the army. I thought it was the commander of the army that's rebelling in the original. In the current one, because I rewrote this arc, so... He was a man who looked as if he had died 100 years ago. Okay. His skin looked like it was about to crumble off. He had pasty blonde hair and bloodshot eyes. It is Queen Layla, you traitorous cow. Charlie Devon. Cow, that's a new insult he learned, said Charlie, smiling slightly. You say chicken a lot. I was going to say that, but then it would be copying you, so I thought another farm animal, and I thought cow, shouted Devon. Guys, I hate to ruin your bonding time, but we kind of have a problem here, shouted Layla, getting a tiny bit annoyed. You are right, my queen, responded Devon. K, Layla, responded Shadow. K? K? That is not how you talk to the queen. Let me... shouted Devon before being interrupted by Shadow. Like Layla said, this is not the time, pretty boy. I will fight you again later. Why are you doing this, Commander, whatever your name is, responded Layla? Because I believe I would be a better ruler than you, and my name is Todrick, responded Todrick. Layla, what are we going to do? Asked Alcona. Burn them all, shouted Layla, smiling. Finally, she could burn someone. Okay. Let's be rational here. Think smartly. You can't just go on in the blaze of battle and then leave Alcona to do everything. Think. Use your brains. You're not dumb sometimes, responded Shadow, trying to calm Layla down. Ravens, ravens, help me, shouted Rachel. Her ravens all came flying over. The guards were trying to attack Rachel, but Hunter and Witch was summoning nightmares left. I didn't know Shadow's pets could also summon nightmares, but okay. Left, right, and centre to combat them. Or just using their claws and teeth. The ravens started pecking at people as Rachel flew into the air and used the sword Shadow had given her to bring down some guards. Layla, what are we going to do? Asked Shadow. Get out of here. We will come back though, responded Layla. Snorri, I want you to freeze all the guards over there, making this little pathway for us to walk over, okay? Yeah, sure, Highness, responded Snorri robotically. As he froze the guards with one simple hand movement. They ran as the guards chased them. Alcona and Rachel got their animals to try to hold them off for a bit. But the only result was slaughtered ravens. Unfortunately for Rachel, as Ravenna sat on her shoulder. Ravenna, being a soul pet, couldn't die unless Rachel did. Soul pets are cool. But Rachel didn't want her to get hurt. They soon got to the tunnel that led to the surface. Snorri, make a wall to block the entrance, commanded Layla, and Snorri immediately did. However, the wall would not last long as the underworld is so hot. They started melting pretty much as soon as it was made. They got to the surface and all ran to the forest nearby Tauki City. Tauki City was pretty famous for being a city with forest/nature reserve. They climbed a tree, but they knew they wouldn't follow them out from the underworld. Right, so I just became queen and now I have nowhere to rule. Where do we go? We can't retreat underground. It's only a matter of time until the elements of light find us. And there are more of them than us in this group, asked Layla. I've heard about a place called the Town of the Bad. We could go there, responded Shadow. The Town of the Bad, Town of the Bad. Oh yeah, Mortimer told me if I ever get stuck in the overworld, I should go there, responded Layla. What is the Town of the Bad? Asked Rachel curiously. Oh, it's a town for people that are evil. It's guarded by vampires, and the mayor of the place is a woman with quite a few powers, responded Shadow. So we shall go there, said Layla, smiling. Chapter 11, The Town of the Bad. The story goes that around 20 years ago, there was a young woman named Lacey. She was a petty thief stealing stuff. But she actually dragged herself into a deeper hole. Now Lacey had quite the load of powers. She can shrink and grow, she can fly, she can shoot some sort of heat beam, she can use missiles from her eyes, and she has super strength. Now this is a lot of abilities, which meant her being bad was a good thing for us, However, one day, on the day where she accidentally dragged herself deeper into a hole, what happened was Lacey, even though she had all these powers, for some reason brought a gun. What? This is not how it goes originally in the current story. The current story, Lacey just kind of made the town because she was like, I don't think the underworld, which has horrible living conditions, should be the only place that criminals can go to. With her every time, some man at the place she was robbing said she wouldn't shoot and ran up to her. She shot him 6 times through the chest. This was her first kill, so of course she was mortified and ran without stealing anything. And the police really wanted her, so she decided to go hide in the sewers. As everyone knows what she looked like. But while she was down there, she met someone. Do vampires live in the sewers? She met a vampire. Yes, vampires are real. Named Dale. Dale is now in the current story is called Valerio. He's kind of a minor character, but it's still the same vampire. Dale sensed the evil she had in her soul. They both instantly fell in love. A classic tale, a girl and a vampire falling in love. Now Dale wasn't no ordinary vampire. He was king vampire. They came up with an idea to make a town for those who are bad to hide from the police and hide somewhere safe that wasn't the sewers. However, there are several rules there. You must not steal from people there or kill them. We are all villains of humanity, so we should have some respect for each other. The town is guarded day and night by vampires, and people who live there have to pay a blood tax, a pint of your blood every 2 months. So, I mean, they have to be the vampires. Apparently, human blood is nicer than pig's blood. Apparently! The town quickly became big, and police gave up trying to enter it. Also, well-known criminals lived there. Acelia! Her name's spelled differently than it used to be, but Acelia! About 29 years ago, she was born. Okay. Just like not saying her, around 29 years ago, she was born. She was born in a small village of about 30 people. This is a very random background lore drop for Acelia, but okay. These people all had the ability to produce acid and were immune to it. Acelia was 4th born, but growing up, she had never had any other kids with her. The people in the village wanted their kids, yeah, this is exactly the same, I think, to be just like them and have that power. So on the day they were born, they were thrown into a bucket of acid. Okay? Acelia was the only one that survived that bucket. After 13 years of sibling after sibling being thrown in, and the other villagers throwing their kids in, Acelia finally snapped. Her parents threw her youngest brother in. He was newborn, and Acelia ran to the bucket and grabbed the child out of it. She rushed to the sink to wash off the acid from his face. Was distorted and crying, but he was alive. Her parents started to shout at her. She grabbed a knife from the counter, stabbed both her parents. She then waited till nightfall and killed the rest of the village. In the village, she lost her sanity that night. She then left for the town of the bad with her little brother. Apparently they're both really strong fighters. And Acelia leads the non-vampire part of the army. Acelia leading an army is not something that happens in the current story. AC is the one that rules the army. Well, he rules Layla's army. Whereas her brother helps train the younger kids in the village how to fight. Now that is it for story time. Off to sleep, you two. I'm taking the first watch, said Shadow. It was daytime. They were going to leave in the middle of the night to avoid getting recognised by anyone. They set up the tree quietly. It'd be a long walk. It was finally night time. They all jumped out of the tree and walked for several hours to the town of the bad, chatting and drinking water, as the long walk made them quite thirsty. Eventually they got to the main gates. There was a big stone wall, just the wall that surrounded the town. Vampires stood at all parts of it. They looked like normal people, just very pale. Okay. Although they were in the sunlight. They showed their fangs off like a display warning. All those of good to keep out. Warning all those of good to keep out. They and their friends went to the main gate, and the vampire in charge of who came in and out was there. He was a tall vampire, about 7 feet, and they instantly recognized him from the tales. He was Dale. State your name and purpose, said Dale. Dale had long black hair, deep brown eyes, and wore all black. Layla, responded Layla. Oh, right, girl fire. I know about all the rest. You may advance to the next room, responded Dale, pointing at a door. They walked through and saw a finger prick. A female vampire sat in the room. Please prick your finger. I need to taste your blood to see if you are lying. I am a super vampire with that power. Oh, in the current story, blood just tastes different if they're lying. They can taste the lies in their blood. So the vampire happy they all did so. Right, you're all good to go. Please enjoy your time here. They had expected the town to be rather dull, but it was brimming with light. People everywhere of all kinds, petty thieves, serial killers, children ran about. So what are we going to do while we're here? Asked out of curiosity. I want to meet with the mayor, and mayor spelled like the horseway, okay, and ask her for help to take our home back, responded Layla. The town hall is quite a walk. This town is a lot bigger than I thought it was. Yeah, it's more like a city, responded Rachel. What? That wasn't even written about me. I just couldn't pronounce that. Rachel, awestruck. They wandered through the Town of Bad, looking at all the buildings. It was a place where not many people talked to each other unless they were kids or buying something. After what felt like an hour of walking, they arrived at what was called the Town Hall. It was a tall stone building that looked like it was part of a castle. Ava knocked and a person came to greet them. He was about to ask who they were and what business they had, but he saw them and immediately knew. He led them to an office, and in a chair sat Lacey, mayor of the town. Mayor felt like horse again. Lacey just is a horse in this. That's what another one of her powers. Layla, Shadow, it's a pleasure to meet such notorious villains. How may I help you? Asked Lacey. Well, I just became queen of the underworld, and there was a rebellion, and I need help getting the underworld back. Do you have an army you could lend me? Asked Layla desperately. That's a big ask. What's in it for me and my people if we do help you? Asked Lacey. Depends, what do you want? Responded Layla. I want to be in charge of the bit of the underworld that is directly under the town of the Bad, responded Lacey, getting straight to the point. Why? Responded Layla. There are so many criminals that the town of the Bad won't be big enough for all of them eventually. It will still belong to you. I just want my people to be able to live there, responded Lacey. Deal, responded Layla. Great, I will take you to our current resident commanders, responded Lacey. She led them to a big field surrounded by some buildings. There were loads of what looked like soldiers standing there. They saw Lacey approaching and all stood tall. Celia, shouted Lacey as they approached a 29-year-old woman who could only be the person Shadow was telling them about earlier. Lacey, who are your people? What? Who are your people with you? Responded Celia, sounding crazy. Lacey quickly filled Celia in. Celia, where's your brother? Asked Lacey. With the cadets, responded Celia, still sounding crazy. Oh no, it's just gonna be like sounding insane and sounding psychotic, and this is like the sounding like a psychopath and the worst looking evil stuff, but just with crazy. Okay, we are going to go to her brother now. His name is EC, which stands for something that I can't bother to remember. It stands for acidic cat, thank you very much. He is 16, but a great fighter. And he works on training the young ones how to fight and takes care of the cadets. Celia have a load of our soldiers ready to depart by the morning, said Lacey. Yes, Mayor. Celia still sounding insane. Okay. They followed Lacey to a group of what looked like teenage soldiers in training. They were being lectured by someone at the front. You all need to fight hard. Be a strong fighter like me. I was thrown into acid. I don't know where I got the word born from. I was thrown into acid and survived because I am strong. I have enough scar to prove it. None of you know the pain I have been through. The trauma that made me stronger. Do I have to traumatize you, lot of silverfish? Okay, AC. I did AC at the top of his lungs. How old was he when he was thrown in the acid? One cadet after another? Newborn, and it's just hard to get him out as one or the other. Is that chatter right here? Am I going to have to traumatize you? Okay, AC. Shouted AC at the cadets. No, sir, they shouted back a little afraid. AC, shouted Lacey. And AC walked over. AC had several scars across his face, one straight down the centre of his face. His arms also had loads of scars. Somehow his sister had managed to stop the top of his head from scarring too badly. So he had hair, which was green and blue in colour. Ooh, that's a different hair colour. I did not remember his hair used to be like that. As he had dyed it. Yo, Lacey, who are these people? Shouted AC. Introduce yourselves. Layla, girl of fire, queen of the underworld. Never heard of you. But nice to meet you. Can I call you Lay? When AC is still shouting. How does he not know who my fiery queen is? This is an insult to my very existence. Off with his, muttered Devon before Shadow interrupted him. Calm down. If you kill him, they won't want to work with us. And that will ruin your precious queen's chances to get the underworld back. Fine, muttered Devon, although he was not happy. I am Shadow, the girl of nightmares, and said Shadow before getting interrupted by AC. Shadow, yeah, I know ya. Yeah. You are the most wanted. Why does he speak like that? You are the most wanted villain. That's so epic. I'm starting to get sick of this, muttered Layla, slightly annoyed. I'm Devon, son of the devil. Apprentice. I thought they appreciate. I mean, that's not wrong either, but apprentice of the magnificent, incredible Queen Layla, responded Devon. Wow, someone's desperate, Davini. Davini? Responded AC, which made Shadow start laughing. Can I take his head now? Asked Devon. No, call it pretty boy, responded Shadow. I'm Alcona, said Alcona. Rachel, muttered Rachel. Yo, Alcona and Rachel, give me a high five, shouted AC as they quickly did. Snowy, muttered Snowy. Have any cadets you think are... Do you have any cadets... Yes. Have any cadets you think are ready for the army? Asked Lacey. Yeah, responded AC. Good. Have them ready by morning, responded Lacey. Yeah, I got it, Lace. I forgot AC used to speak like this. AC currently, I don't know. He's... AC, I'm just curious. What does your name stand for? Asked Rachel curiously. It stands for acidic cat, because I love cats, responded AC. Okay, I will set you up with a place to stay for the night, said Lacey, as she led them to an unoccupied house before leaving. They all sat around. Rachel, can I talk to you? Muttered Snow quietly. I guess so. This is sweet because even in the current story, I'm trying to make sure Rachel and Snowy have the same kind of bond they had in the original. They have less in common than they did in the original, but yeah. He sat down on the wall. Rachel, I'm sorry I tried to kill you when you lot attacked Talkie City. A hero should never aim to kill someone. To kill anyone, muttered Snowy, a few tears forming in his eyes. Snowy, what side are you on? You're Layla's puppy now. That's funny because when I showed Flaming the most recent chapter of my story, he said something about, oh, it sounds like Layla adopted a puppy when talking about how she met Snowy. And these are two very different kinds. You're his puppy now, and you helped us escape. You could have ran. You know where the elements live and be safe. I just want to understand, but you joined us here. Why? And how did you even lose your leg? Asked Rachel. If you guys don't remember, Layla cut off his leg in this. Because I'm not fit to be a hero, I let my emotions get the better of me. And I'm scared of my highness, responded Snowy quietly. If we go into the elements of good, whose side would you be on? Ours or theirs? Asked Rachel. Layla is strong, and she feeds me when she could starve me. So, starves me, and make sure I have a warm place to live. I will be loyal to her, responded Snowy. Damn. Yeah. The way original Layla treats original Snowy is what made me originally hate original Layla and just stop liking her. I like current Layla. Loyal to the one that tortured you. I don't understand that, but I would rather you be on our side than the other side. Because I don't want to have to kill any more people than I already have, responded Rachel. If you don't want to kill people, then why are you on this side of the war? Asked Snowy. You were asking me that question. Does that mean you want to kill someone? I am on this side because Shadow is the only family I have left. And I've already killed 2 people. Chances are I would have probably just spent the rest of my life in the mental hospital. It's only Rachel. Even though those people abused you, Snowy, you should know. Murder is murder in the eyes of the law, responded Rachel. Let's go back inside. It's getting cold. They all went to bed and waiting the morning. Chapter 12, Battle of the Underworld. They all awoke. They had slept well. They got up and had some sort of breakfast. Then they put on their gear. Okay, Rachel, remember, stay by me at all times. You summon some more ravens, right? Make sure they protect you, Shadow said to Rachel. So now I may go kill some traitors, my fiery queen? Asked Devon. Sure thing, responded Layla. Will I be able to increase my kill count? Muttered Alcona psychotically. Yep, definitely runs in the blood, muttered Shadow. I love original Shadow. I love current Shadow. But, original Shadow is just, like, vibe. Like, original Shadow acts like she's the only sane one in, like, that group of people. She's just like, she's like, okay, everyone's crazy, and then I'm here. I'm good. I'm just chill. I'm just gonna be cool and badass. Current Shadow is, she still jokingly makes fun of Layla. Her and Lapis, which is Devon, they still fight with words and stuff. But, like, she's... Shadow hasn't changed that much, but she also has. I don't know how to explain it. They walked outside and saw the army waiting outside. Layla smiled. She finally got to lead someone. I remember Layla's a little bit insane during this bit. Like, just like, maternal monologue and stuff. Okay, you will all be assigned to a squad. That will be your duty. People I assign you to, you should protect and follow their lead. Think of them as your squad leader. AC. Oh, AC insisted on coming with us. So squad 1 is squad AC. Squad 2 is squad Alcona. Squad 3, squad is not going to feel like a real word after this, is squad Shadow. Squad 4 is squad Rachel. Squad 5 is squad Devon. Squad 6 is squad Snowy. And then my squad is squad 7. Now, here is how it will work. We shall enter the underworld via the tunnel that is by the Town of the Bad. Oh, there's only one entrance. That's interesting. Yeah, I should have just said squad whatever they're attached to, because this makes no sense to me. Squad 6 will go in first, acting as our sword. Once we get there, remember the underworld is very big, so each of these squads will be assigned. Squad 1 is a backup squad, meaning they'll provide backup for the squad they are paired with. Squad 1 is paired with Squad 6. Squad 2 sword with... What am I trying to say? With Squad 4 as their backup. Squad 3 and 5 will back up my squad. I do not understand anything that I said. We are likely to be fighting a big battlefield. Stay with the squad pairing you've been assigned to. Do you understand? No, I don't understand. Shouted Layla to all the soldiers. Yes, ma'am! They all shouted. They're all smarter than me. Okay. She was going to get her kingdom back. She knew it. She didn't even need these people. They were just insurance. Layla could do it if she really wanted to. However, the underworld does have quite a lot of potential fire people. And the problem with them is they don't burn easily. But eventually they do. Damn. Then on we march, shouted Layla. They marched to the tunnel. This made Layla feel very powerful. The thought of the war excited her, of course. This is so funny because, like, current Layla doesn't get excited about these things. She just feels like she's a bit broken because she doesn't feel stuff about it. And original Layla's just like, yeah, I love war, death, violence. All those dead bodies she would see was just incredible. Wait, what do dead people taste like? Oh god, I remembered this, but... Because original Layla is, like, slightly more unhinged than current Alcona, but, like, kind of current Alcona level, and then original Alcona is, like, even more unhinged, but, like, basically, Layla kind of fantasizes about cannibalism a little bit. I kind of thought she started doing it since the beginning, but it's fine. It's fine. You know, she wasn't actually ever going to eat anyone. Alcona was, but that's a whole entire different point. wondered Layla. Guess she'll have to find out later. They walked a tunnel and Squad 6 entered first, slicing and dicing their way through the soldiers that met them. Then they went into in the underworld. Layla smiled. It was good to be home. Squad 1 and Squad 6 go right. Squad 2 and Squad 4, I hate the word squad now, go left. My squad and Squad 3 and 5 go straight ahead. Make those traitors feel pain for betraying me, shouted Layla. The squads all went the way they were instructed. Snorri saw a soldier. He knew he would have to kill him. Deep freeze. I wasn't aware his attacks had names, but that's cool, thought Snorri as he instantly froze him. Wait, what am I doing? Thought Snorri. I'm helping the person who tortured me. I must keep on fighting. I must live so that one day I can see Blossom again. And I am her dog. I don't physically know how to disobey her. And if I did, that would be like me signing up for death, and I don't quite want to do that. I must keep on living, but others will die for that to happen. Am I really a hero? I must get that damn girl that took my leg. But the people down here are criminals. Yeah, what am I doing? What I am doing is right. But I am so scared. Layla is being nice to me now. Maybe she's not nice to you. She kicked the burnt ashes of someone in your face. Maybe she's not all bad. Shut up. Shut up, you stupid. Snorri shouted the last bit aloud, then the enemy soldier came out of nowhere, almost slicing him in half. But AC jumped in the way and intercepted. Snorri, snap out of it! Think later, fight now, shouted AC. And Snorri was dragged back to reality. Snorri shot ice at people and fought side by side with AC, and both their squads, leaving a mass of bodies behind, towering down at everyone that approached them. The rumours were true. AC was a great fighter, despite not having any magical powers. Yeah, in the original, AC has no powers. Current AC has, like, a power that makes him more flexible, but doesn't really help his fighting that much. Meanwhile, Squad 2 and Squad 4 were fighting enemies on the left side. Rachel had a lot of ravens covering her and attacking. Rachel was flying around and fighting, while using her wings to dodge. Alcona had all her hellhounds with her, fiercely attacking the opponents. Then someone nearly caught Alcona by surprise. Rachel jumped in, just about blocking the enemy's sword. They were just fighting with swords, that's fine. Alcona, be more careful, shouted Rachel. Sure thing, Rachel, shouted Alcona. Back, their squads fought ferociously, cutting down the enemy, but not without their own casualties. Then a man threw a spear. It ripped through Rachel's left wing. Blood spattered all over the floor. The spear had something on the other side, which dragged her down to the floor. She struggled against it, and the person who had the spear pinned her to the ground with his sword. He stabbed Rachel in the leg. Ruby red blood squirted out, and she let out a scream in agony. You ever been tortured or so near death that your life flashes before your eyes? Beg me for mercy and die, you innocent little girl. You don't even know what I'm going to do to you. What does that mean? Said the man, a cruel tone in his voice. Rachel knew she had to get out of this. She tried to look over to Alcona, but she was dealing with enough enemies as it was. And everyone else was fighting someone else. I couldn't come to help her. The cold metal of the sword touched her throat. Shall I slice it, or is that too merciful? Asked the man, staring at her with nothing but coldness. Rachel knew she had to get herself out of this situation, but that would probably mean she would have to kill this man. She didn't want to kill anyone, but the side that she is on does. But Rachel wanted to survive more. She let out a sharp sound, which made the man just laugh, and a load of ravens quickly arrived, pecking at the man with their sharp beaks, scratching with their sharp talons, literally ripping him to shreds. I mean, ravens killing people in the current story, that's just as graphic as it is in this one, so. Then the ravens, being scavengers, ate him. Rachel looks away. She was hurt she was too hurt to really fight much more. But she would have to if she wanted to live. So she went to back up Alcona. Meanwhile, Squad 3, 5 and Layla's squad. At that point I'd given up, I think. We're in the middle of the battlefield, destroying absolutely everyone who stood in their way. Layla was smiling. Obviously, she was killing lots and lots of people. She had lost count, but it was fun. Shadow was just killing those who attacked her with a simple stab through the neck or heart. Both pretty quick ways to go. Maybe it was her version of mercy, but who knows. Devon was watching Layla very closely. They kept almost forgetting to check that no one was attacking him. Then Layla saw him, the traitor that had started the whole entire rebellion. She considered thanking him because she hadn't had this much fun in ages. Okay, Layla. But Todrick stood in front of her with a stupid grin on his stupid ancient face. Layla smiled. Burning him was going to be fun. Ah, Todrick. Nice to see you again. Die! Shouted Layla. She shot a fierce shot of fire at him and somehow managed to dodge. He charged forward with his sword, which Layla intercepted with the Sword of Flames. When did the Sword of Flames exist? Now, the Sword of Flames was a very hot sword. The sword clanked as they clasped, but Todrick's one melted due to the heat of Layla's sword. Layla then shot an incredibly strong shot of fire from her hand. It caught at once to Todrick. Layla controlled the flames so it burned slowly. Todrick's supporters saw and looked in horror as Todrick slowly burnt to death in absolute agony, screaming. A few ran, and Layla caught them all with fireballs. Many others fell to their knees in the centre. The ones in the left and right had all pretty much been wiped out. Layla looked at the battlefield. There were so many bodies, but she had won this war. She knew she would. Layla smiled. Now she might actually be able to tell what human tastes like. Okay, Layla, I love you, girlie, but can we dial back the cannibalism a little bit? Alright? Hey, Psycho, what are we going to do with these terrible surrendering cowards? Shouted Shadow. Lock them up, responded Layla. Shadow and Devon and the remaining soldiers had went around locking up the enemies which had fallen to their knees in surrender. After the battle was done, the squads all met up with each other. Okona and Layla started talking about how much fun they had, while Shadow was hugging Rachel. Rachel, what happened? Asked Shadow, and Rachel told her everything. Did you kill him? Asked Shadow. Yes, I didn't get hurt after that again, responded Rachel. Good, responded Shadow. Now Layla had the under her back. Question is, what is she going to do with all those traitors? Chapter 13, bow down to your queen. This chapter was cool because when I rewrote the Underworld Rebellion arc, I called chapter 13 the same thing as it was called originally, the bow down to your queen. Layla stood at the stage where the whole rebellion had started. The people of the town, seeing that she had won the war, were happy to have her as their queen. Bring out those cowards and traitors that surrendered, Layla shouted. Several guards approached with all those who had surrendered. We are sorry, Your Highness, some of them muttered, but Layla didn't care. She actually preferred those who had died in battle, at least they'd gone down nobly. Bow down to me, shouted Layla, and all the traitors did. I ask you all, what is worse than some villain who goes down fighting? What is worse? I ask you all, what is worse? Some villain who goes down fighting, or some scared little wimp that surrenders just to live? Asked Layla. She could see the audience was all disgusted by the traitors who had surrendered. Please, Your Highness, mercy, muttered one of them. Did I tell anyone to speak? Because I don't seem to remember telling anyone to speak, shouted Layla, as she kicked the person who had spoken in the face, which made the crowd cheer. Layla smiled. This was so much fun. Psycho, don't be too insane, muttered Shadow. Sure, silence, shouted Layla, and the crowd stopped cheering. You know how he asked for mercy? Mercy doesn't exist in our world. Mercy is the language of a hero, and we are not heroes. We are those that heroes hate. We are what is considered to be a villain. Mercy? What's that? Spare their lives so they can stab you in the back later on? And with villains, trust is hard, because us villains always want the best for ourselves. Sometimes you may think you can rely on family, but some will even go that far to dispose of those who care about them, to get a laugh, or just get further in the world. So on the side of villains, of course I'm not going to trust those people who betray me. Cut out his tongue. Cut out the tongue of the one who spoke. Devon, would you be so kind to us do that? Shouted Layla, just made the crowd all smile. Of course, my magnificent fiery queen, the beautiful flame of my world, the one who sets my heart on fire, you beautiful amaze, said Devon before being interrupted by Shadow. Can you just get on with it? Asked Shadow as she gripped Rachel's hand. Devon walked over to the one who had spoken and removed his tongue. Now today, I decided I wanted to build a campfire. You know, I wonder what campfire roasted human tastes like. I might not try it, but either way, there's going to be some roasted human, delicately prepared with seasoning, and a beautiful side salad. And of course, some parts will be boiled, said Layla before Shadow interrupted. We get it, Psycho. You want to taste humans? Just get on with killing them, jeez. Don't interrupt said Devon before being interrupted by Shadow. Shut your mouth. Time, Shadow. Take them to the campfire that I prepared, shouted Layla. They were escorted, then tied to the wood. Layla held a flame in her hands. You better all watch this, so you know what happens to traitors. I am your queen. I am not here to be some great, kind, benevolent leader. I am here to rule. I am a villain, which means with me, you shall get no mercy. If anyone tries to betray me, I will slowly burn them until all that's left is ashes. Then I will put the ashes in a bowl and drop them on some people's heads. I might even eat a bit of it. We get it, Layla. You're a cannibal. Oh, we're fantasizing about cannibalism. Jesus Christ. I'm strong. Stronger than all of you. That's a flare line, if I've ever seen a flare line. Shouldn't the strongest be in charge? But please, if you ever feel like you're stronger than me, step right up and challenge me. Come on. I have been wanting to play a little. No takers? I guess you aren't that stupid. You know, Satan elected me himself, so I am your queen. What am I trying to say that? Repeat after me. Repeat after me. All hail Queen Layla. Her hotness is not just from her power. Layla's saying it to be the fiery queen of hotness. Okay. Oh, good grief, muttered Shadow. That is such a truthful thing for my fiery, radiant, hot magma beauty of a queen to say. All hail Queen Layla. Her hotness is not just from her power. I love my Queen Layla. Long live the queen. Shouted Devon at the top of his lungs. You are so hopeless, sighed Shadow. They all shouted it. Layla smiled as she set the campfire on fire and controlled it so that it slowly crept towards them. Before catching fire to them, the screams of agony were like music to Layla's ears. Layla handed her friends some marshmallows on a stick. Shadow just ate the marshmallows, and so did Rachel and Snowy. Then Layla, Elkona, and Devon all roasted the marshmallows over the fire. Wow. And AC just sat off to the side. Hey AC, shouted Layla. Yo, shouted AC back. Do you want to be in charge of training my army? Because I kind of need a new one, and the people from the town of Bad have to go back there. Yes, I totally do. I love it down here, said AC, smiling. The fire eventually went out as they all sat around it. It got to night time. They were all tired and yawned. Layla, you are one damn psychopath, muttered Shadow. And you're on Nimwit, responded Layla, and they both laughed a little. I like it here, muttered Elkona. Same, said Rachel, and Snorri just looked at the ground. I think you will reign for a very long time, said Devon, and they went back to their place to sleep. And that is the end of the Layla stuff. I'm pretty sure Layla doesn't appear again. I've never got to writing the Elements Part 2, so yeah, that's the end of the original Layla stuff. You might have seen it for like a second, but the next bit is Tiger Lily Part 2, which I'm really excited about. Tiger Lily Part 2 is the one I have reread the most, like, in recent years. It's so good. Out of, like, I think it's probably the best part of Villain's Tales. There's probably gonna be weird stuff. Almost just swore. But yeah. This video is not meant to be this long, but you know what, it's fine. I'll see you all next time. So goodbye, friends, fruits and vegetables.